Hey everyone, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create a virtual reality 360 image for the web in under 10 minutes. So you can see here, I have this website and I have a few places here that you can visit on the website. And these are all virtual reality experiences. So I'm going to go ahead and show you Pike Place Market. And I track all of this with XAPI, but we won't get into that today. And as you can see, this is a virtual reality experience that can also be viewed just on the web without VR glasses. And I've added a few things into this, like these pulsing eyes that give these pop-up tips and facts. So for this experience that we're going to be creating today, we're going to use a tool called A-Frame. So A-Frame is a framework for web VR experiences. And you can go to aframe.io to get started. So the experience that we're going to be creating is a 360 image. You can see other experiences here that you can also edit and do different things too, but we're going to focus on the 360 image. So here we've got an example of a 360 image that was used for this experience. But we can create our own. So you can get a 360 camera, which I'll put in the blog post, and then, or you can use images that are already created. So for this experience, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a gallery of images that you can pull from. So A-Frame has a list of different assets that you can use. We're going to use some from Flickr. So what you want to do to follow along with this tutorial is go to this URL here and then test out a image. Some of them aren't going to be able to be downloaded because of copyright, but we can go ahead and just choose one. So I'm going to choose large. Obviously, the larger the photo, the higher the resolution photo is, it's going to show up a lot better. But we're just going to pick large for this example. But for larger, even larger ones, it's going to take longer for it to load on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and show that in my Finder and just rename it to something that makes a little bit more sense. So I'll just call this VR image. And I'm going to put that on my desktop for now, but I'll come back to it later. So in order to get started with this, what we need to do is we need to get the code for the actual experience that we're going to create. So let's go back over to A-Frame, and then what we want to do is view the source. So this is going to be the code that we use here. So, and there's going to be two things that we change out of here. Well, actually three if you want to change the text as well. What we need to do is we need to attach the JavaScript to this. So we're going to have to download that. And then we want to put the location of our image that we just downloaded. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is create a new file on the desktop, or a folder rather, and I'll just call this VR experience. So I'm going to go ahead and name this. If I can spell right. And then I'm going to drag that image that I have for the experience in here. So these virtual reality tour images have to be a specific type of image, so that's why we needed that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and create the HTML document, and I'm just going to name it index.html. So I'm going to go ahead into Sublime Text here. This is the text editor that I like to use, and I'm just going to go ahead and save this. So I'm going to save it to my desktop and then drag it onto my folder that I just had created. So I'm just going to call this index.html because it's my main file here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this into my VR experiences folder there. Now, we won't be able to see anything yet because we need to add in the JavaScript file that we don't have currently in here. So another thing that we're going to need to do is, and I'm just going to quit out of that really quick, is go to Google Chrome, go back to your browser, whatever browser you're using, and we need to get this file that's in the this dist folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to A-Frame here, and then I need to go into dist, and I need this A-Frame master.js. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that and then click download. And so then I will have that. It's processing. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So we've got that. Now we need to move our JavaScript file into our folder for our VR experience. So I'm going to go ahead and open that and then place that into the folder. So best practices, I'm just going to create a folder with assets in it. And then within that folder, I'm going to create an images folder. And then I'm going to create a JavaScript folder. So I'm just going to say JS. And then what I want to do is I want to put those documents that I just created into that folder. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me clean this up really quick. I'm going to put the JavaScript into there, and then I'm going to put the image into the images. All right. So now the next step is we need to edit that index.html so that it goes to the path of our A-frame JavaScript file. So what I'm going to do is I want to say assets because we have an assets and then we have it in JS. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. But the one thing that's going to be different is we need to change what our image is. So let's go ahead into assets and see. So it's vrImage.jpg. So we want to change this to assets/images/vr, lowercase vrImage.jpg. All right, so we've got that in there and we've still got this text that says it's in France, but we can change that as well if we want, or we can just take the whole thing out if we really would like to. So the one thing that you're gonna notice is if I go in and view this now, our index file, you're not gonna see anything. So we know that it's working because we've got this this VR goggles icon down here that lets us switch into the actual VR mode. But what we need to do is we need to create a simple server that's going to serve up the images in here. So what we need to do is we need to copy and paste this into our terminal. If you hosted all these files somewhere else, it's going to come up because it's already on a server. But because it's local, it's not on any kind of server, so we need to actually serve it up ourselves. And this is a great way for testing projects. But if you don't want to test it, you can just put it on an S3 or wherever you host your files, and the image will come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my terminal, and then I'm going to change my directory into my VR experience folder so that I can serve this up on a server. So let's see where we are right now. So I'm doing ls to list all of my files. So I want to go to my desktop. So I'm going to change my directory to my desktop. And now I can see all of these things that are on my desktop. So what I want to do is change directory into my VR experience. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now when I do ls, you can see I'm in there in that folder, and I can just do my Python script right here, and that should create a server for me. So you can see it's serving it up on port 8000. So if I go to that, you can see our image here perfectly. So the one thing that we might want to change is we may not want this text on here, so you can go ahead into this and just take it right out, or you can go ahead and change it to something else. So I'm gonna take it out, and you can see now it's gone. So quick, simple, easy, and if you did want to change the text, what you can do is you just want to change the value here. So that's all that I'm going to share with you guys today. For more things that you can add to this VR experience, you'll want to go over to A-Frame and check out some of the extras that they have.